Good evening, everybody. The date is May 4th of 2016, otherwise known as Star Wars Day. Get it? May the 4th be with you. Anyways, definitely not important. I just wanted to welcome you to another edition of the Nick of Time News Show. I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Nick Dorsey, and I am very thankful for your patience as my weird, raspy voice issue continues to develop through the week. Definitely not good, but I'm going to go ahead and power through. I do hope that you had an amazing Wednesday. I know I did. And as usual, before I get started in the juicy goodness, I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that you are following me on Twitter at NickOfTimeNews. And of course, as always, subscribe to the channel for even more awesome news and commentary from yours truly. You can also like the video, but mainly subscribe to the channel. You can like the video too, but subscribe. Subscribe. That's the most important. Now, before I dive into the heavy stuff, I wanted to go ahead and give you a couple of headlines I came across today. In sports, it does look like there was a lot going on, so I wanted to let you know that Johnny Manziel was arrested today again. He was arrested on domestic violence charges stemming from accusations from his girlfriend. It definitely looks like the once promising college football star is continuing to do anything and everything to wreck his chance in getting back into the NFL. His attorney made a statement and that he was booked and released on a mere $1,500 bond. That's all they're giving nowadays? $1,500 bond? That's crazy. Manziel is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning, so we will see how that develops. Now, it does look like also Miami Heat star Chris Bosh is ruled out for the season officially. The decision was made today after a week of drama on social media. Bosh and his wife were trying to pressure the team on social media to let him play after the team barred him from the playoffs, with the Players Association jumping in a meeting was set to determine if Bosh should or shouldn't in fact play, since he has, it looks like, some serious blood clot issues in his leg. In a joint statement made by Bosh and the team today, it was released that he will in fact miss at least the rest of this season. It's not good news for a team that is in the second round of the playoffs with the Toronto Raptors, so we should see how they're doing. But they are up a game. They've only played one game and they are leading the series 1-0. So we'll definitely see how that plays out. And lastly, in sports, Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson donated $100,000 to the relief fund for Palestine, Texas. For those who may be unaware, over the weekend they had some serious flash floods that destroyed the dozens of homes and took the lives of at least 6 people. Now, the running back said he will also match any future donations, so he's planning on giving more money. He was quoted as saying, if people put $200,000, I'll match it. So it doesn't look like there seems to be any matter to the amount. He just wants to go ahead and get the help that they need out there. Now, the Viking star did grow up in East Texas, in that area, and played high school football there before going number 1 in Oklahoma. In 2003, he was the number 1 recruit. The town is even named Adrian Peterson Day in his honor to celebrate his accomplishments. Now, in international news, Chile is making headlines with thousands of Dead Sea creatures washing up on its shores. Among the madness, looks like they have dead whales, salmon, and sardines are the creatures that have been washing up. This month alone has seen 8,000 tons. 8,000 tons. That is so much. Of sardines, and thousands of clams have been washed up on the Chiloé Island. It is being considered an emergency, and the government has even issued monthly grants to fishermen in response to the issues they're facing. The monthly grants do go for $150, which has actually led to outrage and protests as fishermen argue that you cannot live off of 100,000 pesos. Currently, the phenomenon is being blamed on the El Nino weather system. Now, on to the stuff you've been waiting for. Now, today is National Star Wars Day, as I mentioned, and much like Star Wars, apparently, my show has the Force. Now, he may say it had nothing to do with my invigorating and enlightening commentary. I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz knows that's not the truth. The pressure from the Nick of Time News show was obviously too much for him. He couldn't handle it. And as of yesterday, he is officially out of the race for president. Ted Cruz is gone. He announced in way too many words his exit from the presidential race after his loss in Indiana to Donald Trump. Here's what he had to say on the issue.
From the beginning, I've said that I would continue on as long as there was a viable path to victory. Tonight, I'm sorry to say, it appears that path has been foreclosed. Together, we left it all on the field in Indiana. We gave it everything we've got. But the voters chose another path. And so, with a heavy heart, but with boundless optimism for the long-term future of our nation, we are suspending our campaign.
The path has been foreclosed, to the gasps and cries out of who exactly is in the audience. I mean, they seem really, really upset. I can only assume they use large sums of their retirement fund to bet on Cruz in Vegas. Either way, it's created for an interesting situation to say the least. First and foremost, it drops the race down to just Trump. Just even a couple hours ago, the pressure from Cruz's dropout forced John Kasich to give up his bid for the White House. It's still fresh and breaking news. John Kasich has officially ended his presidential campaign as well. He really had to, since, a contested convention is kind of impossible at this point. And even if it happened or if it didn't happen, his delegate count is way too low to have a legitimate chance. Secondly, and non-ironically, it gave the opportunity for Carly Fiorina to be defeated not once, but twice. In one Republican primary election with Cruz out, this is her second time out of the election. The only way she's getting back now is if Donald Trump decides to... He's not going to do that. So Donald Trump has been declared by the party the presumptive Republican nominee. The victory in Indiana even got him to call for party unity as he congratulated Ted Cruz in this clip from his speech.
So again, folks, this has been an amazing evening. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it. And what Ted did is really a very brave thing to do and a great thing to do, because we want to bring unity to the Republican Party. We have to bring unity. It's so much easier if we have it.
Don't forget, earlier that day, he was suggesting that Ted Cruz's father, Rafael Cruz, he was suggesting his father was involved in the Kennedy assassination. One state victory and a Ted Cruz dropout later, and all of a sudden, congratulations are in order. Look, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, all that aside, this Trump thing, we let this happen. I cannot tell you how many times I said from the very beginning, from the very first speech, that people are not going to take Trump seriously, and he's going to end up and win the nomination. If his competition is Hillary, the public may very well be up for one of the biggest, messiest, craziest general elections we have ever seen. The one thing I have to say is that I cannot believe we had to listen to so much whining and complaining from the Republicans. When Obama was elected, that's all they talked about was how could a president get elected, how could a nominee get elected who has no experience in office, who's barely a senator, he's never ran anything, he's never been mayor or governor, or he's never done anything in the Senate office that warrants having experience. Oh my gosh, it was just one thing after the other about how Obama had no experience. And now the Republicans turn around and elect a candidate with less experience than Obama had in 2008. Oh, it's enough to drive you crazy. I have a lot more to say about it. Probably do it on another show, but honestly, I really don't feel like giving Trump any more of this show's time. So with that, I do want to talk about the Democratic primary. It was also last night. It really did come down to the wire. Initially, I even reported last night that it looked like Hillary was going to win because she was ahead by 10 points, according to the exit polls and even the early calculations of the votes. 10 points. That was a heck of a difference in what happened. I mean, you're talking about swinging a 15-point difference because slowly but surely Bernie Sanders comes up, overtook the lead, proving once again that open elections give him a better chance to win since he appeals to more people, a wider variety, if you will. Make no mistake about it, though, Indiana was a huge, as Bernie says, a huge victory. It does come with 83 delegates total, which is the second largest amount, left behind only California, and Sanders did win by over 5 points. So it went from 10 points in Hillary's favor to over 5 points in Sanders' favor. That's definitely, I mean, that's an impressive 15-point swing. He's going to go ahead and get 44 of those delegates, which leaves the official count currently at 1,362 pledged delegates versus Clinton's 1,683 pledged delegates. Now, at this point of the race, it's almost impossible for either candidate to get the nomination off pledged delegates alone. It most certainly will come down to the superdelegates and a Democratic contested convention. As much as anyone, I hate to say this, but the road to the nomination is going to be far from easy for Bernie. Our best hope at this point was for Hillary to get indicted by the FBI, but the rumor is now coming from the Democratic National Committee Chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You're not going to like this one. The rumor is that she is saying that even if Hillary gets indicted, this is some heavy stuff. Even if Hillary gets indicted, they're going to give her delegates and the superdelegates to current Vice President Joe Biden. Oh, the injustice. The just ridiculously open corruption is the best way to put it. The DNC is nothing short of corruption right now. If that happens, if they take away the nomination from Bernie, if Hillary gets indicted, they are handing the presidential election to Trump on a silver platter. Because Trump is it. He's the Republican nominee. It's either going to be him or somebody on the Democratic side. Those are the two choices. So anyone who thinks it's still not likely for Trump to get elected, you better wake up. They do that, Trump will get the election. Hands down, no doubt about it. Because not only will she lose a good section of what were or would be Democratic Party voters, the Democratic Party itself is losing voters that they may never get back with the types of underhanded things that they've done in this election. They may never see some of these Democrats ever again. Whatever happens, though, I gotta say, no doubt in my mind that Bernie Sanders from this point forward in the election is inspired so many people. The political revolution lives on. Whether he makes it out of this election or not, the political revolution will not die. Count on it. I said it here first. You're going to see that people are going to dialogue about the same things because at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton has amassed a $45 million small fortune as a public servant. But yet has $45 million. As far as I'm concerned, she's used her power, her place, her position, and everything that's happened for financial gain. We don't elect officials so that way afterwards they can go to bankers and corporate interests and make a bunch of money. That's not why we do that. So as much money, as much corruption as just sitting in front of our faces in the government, that conversation is not going away. I truly believe that moving forward, the dialogue won't change. We have to find a way to uncorrupt our government. And most importantly, gain back our voices as a democracy. Now, as always, I do hope you enjoyed the show today. I'm not going to stop shamelessly promoting myself. You need to follow me. Jeez. Twitter, at NickOfTimeNews. Twitter. That's simple. At NickOfTimeNews. And if you find any fact check corrections, as always, you can tweet them to me. You can email them to me at nickoftimenews@gmail.com. Share the video, share the audio with all your friends. Tell their friends to share it with their friends' friends. And if you could donate to the campaign, the link, as always, will be in the description. I do want to thank you for tuning in to the Nick of Time News Show and for your continued support. This has been your host, Nick Dorsey. Until next time.